Sir Keir Starmer insisted there is hope for the future as he made his first speech as Prime Minister to the Labour Party conference in Liverpool. He told delegates his plan to rebuild a better Britain won't be quick, but it will be worth some short-term pain. And that could mean more taxes at next month's budget. There were a few pledges, homes for hero veterans and a new Hillsborough law. But he appeared to rule out any reversal of the cut to the winter fuel allowance. From Liverpool, here's our political editor, Robert Peston, on the Prime Minister's vision for Britain.
Since winning the election, he's been Mr Misery. Today, at Labour conference, he tried a bit more light as well as shade.
Thank you, conference. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
But he still can't pretend that what he calls national renewal will be easy or quick.
This is a long-term project. I've never pretended otherwise.
It was a speech long on themes rather than practical pledges, though ending the scourge of military veterans sleeping rough was one.
We will repay those who served us and house all veterans in housing need. Homes will be there for heroes.
And homes were also promised for young care leavers and victims of domestic abuse. He then talked about how rebuilding the state means some of us will have to make sacrifices.
If we want justice to be served, some communities must live close to new prisons. If we want to maintain support for the welfare state, then we will legislate to stop benefit fraud.
And taxes are going up in the next budget.
Just because we all want low tax and good public services, that does not mean that the iron law of properly funding policies can be ignored.
As for the civil unrest we saw over the summer,
I will never let a minority of violent, racist thugs terrorise our communities.
At last, some light relief. His recent encounter with a lady in the Lake District where he holidayed as a child.
She stopped, smiled, laughed, and said politely, "If I'd known you were a politician, I'd have pushed you down the stairs when I had the chance."
And he said it's his family that shaped his values, including his care worker sister.
Wouldn't it be great if this was always and also a country where, because of that contribution, that vital, life-affirming work, she could walk into any room and instantly command the same respect as the Prime Minister?
Finally, the point of it all.
We will stabilise our economy, clear out the Tory rot, fix the foundation and deliver the mandate of change.
As you can hear, the hall absolutely loved Keir Starmer's vision of a better Britain. But as usual, he said there would be sacrifices, pain along the way. Are you saying that there will be a palpable sense for the next election that people are better off?
People will see in their towns and their cities and their communities a sight that we don't see often enough. Shovels in the ground, cranes in the sky.
Marks out of 10 for what you heard.
Could do better, I think, on things around investment in jobs, and also critically, the winter fuel allowance cut is a mistake and that is going to have to be reversed.
Was this his most authentic vision for Britain? What you might call a suit he made and actually bought for himself? She thinks so. Robert Peston, ITV News in Liverpool.
So what then do voters think about that speech and the first few months for Labour government? Our political correspondent, Romilly Weeks, heard the views of people in Liverpool and in the constituency of Macclesfield, a seat which turned red at the last election, having been held by the Tories since 1918.
Change is Labour's promise, but what that means has been rather misty. With this speech, Keir Starmer needed to set a clear course and convince voters he can steer them there. In solid red Knowsley, one of the safest Labour seats, not all agreed with his direction.
Labour is supposed to be there for the working class people, and what are they doing now, taking the fuel money off elderly people?
But I think to get things moving, you've got to hurt people as well as make people good as well.
But some individual policies, like cracking down on welfare fraud.
Well, I believe in that, because I worked a long time and I'm on benefits now. I believe that.
And houses for veterans, care leavers and domestic abuse survivors did catch people's attention, if it happens.
I'd like to see change. I'd like to see what he's promising, what Keir's promising, come to fruition. If he's going to be making promises to people, he needs to keep them.
50 miles east in Macclesfield, which turned Labour for the first time in living memory, pub owner Lee Wainwright watched the speech for clues as to what it means for business. Do you think he's done enough for business? Are you worried about the sort of atmosphere of gloom and doom in the language about the economy so far?
I don't think so. I think it'll all come out in the budget, really. I think that's going to be where we'll find out whether we're going in the right direction or not.
You are a switcher. You've switched your vote from the Conservatives to Labour. Are you, as a business owner, hearing what you wanted to hear from a Labour government, a Labour Prime Minister?
I think so far, yes. I don't think you can do it all in one big hit. I think it has to be slow incremental changes, otherwise you disrupt the economy more, potentially, by doing big changes that businesses need to adapt.
Right.
Down the road in a pensioners' social club, politics was a hot topic.
When was the last time that, what year, if you know it, was the Labour government in power?
But there was scepticism that Keir Starmer has all the answers.
There's all this money being given to the unions and the people like that, and yet we're the pensioners who are going to be hit at the hardest.
I think they're taking it slowly, I think they're taking it cautiously, and I think they're doing it correctly.
Patience is what Keir Starmer asked for, but soon voters will be expecting results. Romilly Weeks, ITV News.